and good morning. I have two items for your attention this morning, new business and old business. With your permission, I'd like to dispose of the new business first. Yep. That was UZO 19 of 24, heard just this past couple weeks ago. The property is on East Wabash Avenue, eighth of a mile east of Glen Eyre Street on the south side of Wabash Avenue. It does have an address of 8653 Wabash Avenue. It's currently zoned RS. The proposed zoning is C7, and the property owner wishes to combine the remainder, this small portion that he's wishing to rezone, with the parent tract or the larger portion of the property he owns at the same location. It received a favorable recommendation from staff as well as from the Area Plan Commission, and there were no remonstrators present.
Is the petitioner present? You have anything to add? Anybody here in opposition? Any questions from the commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Okay.
carries.
Thank you. The second item, which is old business, was heard and previously tabled. Just as a refresher, this is the property located on the east side of State Road 63, about 410 feet south of the intersection of West Kennett Drive. It is zoned agricultural. The petitioner is requesting to rezone it to C2 Community Commercial District for a retail store, and Mr. Britton, I believe, is still their representative.
Mr. Britton? Hey, Kevin. Kevin, can you shut that door, please? Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioners, first, congratulations to Mr. Schweitzer and Mr. Morris on their election victories. I'm Lou Breton, representing the petitioner. Also here on behalf of the petitioner is Dave Rogers, a project engineer. As has been pointed out, this is a request for a rezone from A1 to C2 for a parcel that is being subdivided off of a 22-acre farm field. As you'll recall, you voted to table this at your last meeting to allow us an opportunity to meet with the neighbors and perhaps resolve some issues, or at least present some additional concerns. Charles Overton, a principal with the developer, came up from Alabama. He and I met with people from the neighborhood last Wednesday at Prairieton United Methodist Church. Several items were discussed, and I think some progress was made, although I won't stand here and tell you that everybody's happy, or that there aren't still people who are opposed to this rezoning. One issue that seems to still be confusing to the neighborhood group is the exact location of what's being rezoned. I think there's some misunderstanding that the entire 22-acre farm field, which abuts the church property, is being rezoned. It is not. The church property is actually located in the corner above the yellow area on your map there. That's the actual church. So far as I can tell, the church also owns the area in yellow. The property being rezoned is the roughly rectangle. I'm not good at geometry, so I don't know what the angle of 63 does to that being a rectangle in terms of its name, but the 350 by 545 foot parcel outlined in red is the parcel being rezoned. That was subdivided at the same time the rezoning was initially requested. So as you can see, it's located 170 feet south of the farm property owned by the church and some 350 feet south of the church itself. It's also 270 feet from Edison Place and about 550 feet from the homes that are located to the south across that farm field. The remainder of the 22-acre farm field will remain owned by the current owner. I just thought that might need a little clarification. At the meeting, the developer in response to concerns expressed by the neighbors, agreed that they would install a privacy fence 6 foot high on 3 sides of the property, which would basically stop in line with the front of the building. They indicated that the property would be served by a masonry dumpster enclosure that would contain 2 dumpsters that will be emptied on a weekly basis. There will be no hard liquor sales from the property. If they are permitted, if they seek a permit and are permitted, they would seek a permit for beer and wine sales. The lighting would be installed on a timer, which would go off shortly after closing to allow employees time to leave the building after their shift is done. This morning I learned from further site investigation by the developer that there's apparently some confusion regarding speed limits in the area. According to the State Highway Department's maps, and you can see the sign if, on Google if you're good enough to know how to use that, there's a speed limit of 40 miles an hour posted south of this site for northbound traffic. I'm sorry, for southbound traffic. The northbound sign for 40 mile an hour speed limit appears to be missing. The traffic engineers tell me that if it's 40 on one side of the road, and there's a sign posted for that, it is nearly always 40 mile an hour the other direction, but apparently the sign there is missing. So it would appear that both directions of travel at this store site, the speed limit is 40 miles an hour. There was some confusion about what the speed limit is in the area before. Understandable in view of the probable missing sign. There was some discussion at prior meetings and at our meeting at the church about the potential for using municipal water. Some additional light was shed on that, and I think the general sentiment was that, assuming it was approved by the municipal supplier, the neighborhood didn't have any significant concerns about that. There was also, as has been the case in the past, significant discussion about why does Dollar General need another store here? There's a store 3 miles up the road. In further discussions, even after the meeting, I think it became more clear to me that Dollar General stores are generally, as you know, not terribly big. That means that if a store is getting more volume than it can really handle or was designed to handle, it puts a significant burden on that store to be able to restock and to be able to maintain its stock. That also means that there's more traffic than the store was designed for, which makes it more difficult to keep it clean and tidy and that sort of thing. What Dollar General recognizes is that when a store reaches those sorts of volumes, that store is not serving its current customers well. And the best solution to that problem is to build another store that will, in fact, take some customers from the store that is overburdened. That's the purpose, to cut down on the burden on that store and make it easier for that store to function. This is not directly from Dollar General. This is a surmise from what we know about the way these stores operate, that it is very likely that this store is being cited to relieve burdens on other nearby stores and make the operation of those stores better and make it easier for those stores to be maintained in a clean, safe way, and to provide customers of those stores with a new store that will better serve their needs. In that way, Dollar General is able, by building the new store, to actually serve its customers better at both stores. Toward the end of the meeting, Cindy Morgan provided a list of questions to the developer and Dollar General. And she later followed that up with an email that contains similar questions. Not identical, but similar. And this is a copy of first the handout. Forgive me, I took a picture of it, so it's kind of skewed, but it's still legible. That's the document that was handed to the developer at the meeting. Despite the tight time frame within which the developer had to operate following that meeting, the developer has discussed many of these questions with Dollar General. Some of the items are fairly subjective, such as how will Dollar General ensure proper upkeep and replacement of landscaping? What your definition of proper and mine may be different. How will Dollar General ensure deliveries don't disrupt neighbors' lives? I don't know what disruption means there. And disruption to one is maybe not disruption to another. What procedures are followed to ensure a clean store? Again, the definition of that is extremely subjective. In fact, the list provided Wednesday evening provides that deliveries can only be made between 9 and 4, but restocking can only be done at night. So they're going to get a delivery, but they can't stock it. It's got to sit around in the store. They don't have large warehouses related to these facilities, so when they get a delivery, they need to restock it. Many others are management issues, the details of which are in the hands of the Dollar General manager and regional managers, but those persons are responsible for ensuring that the store is productive and well maintained. Looking at the specifics of the requests for the developer, they asked that we consider moving to a site outside of Prairieton. They provided 2 sites which Dollar General, or the developer, has reviewed preliminarily, and it appears that those sites are too small. They ask about an environmental study. The developer will do a phase 1 environmental study and a geotech study of the site. They ask whether there would be a traffic study. There will be it is expected there will be a traffic study as required by INDOT. Does the developer have a plan to minimize light pollution? Yes, they do a light pollution study for every store. What steps will the developer take not to damage the tree row? At this point, we don't know how much of that tree row is located on the property, but there are no intentions to significantly impair that tree row, and they'll have to do a soil erosion control plan. The survey, they ask about a survey that has already been completed. They ask about contributions to a local pollinator project, and Dollar General has a national program of making contributions to local United Ways, Literacy Foundation, and Autism. Those are national programs that Dollar General participates in. With regard to daily cleaning, and I'm just going down their list here for Dollar General, that's up to the store manager on site, and that manager is charged with keeping the store in a presentable condition. Ensure upkeep and replacement of landscaping, again, that's the store manager on site's job. Not sell alcohol, as noted earlier, beer and wine, if permitted by the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Keep all merchandise inside the store. That varies depending on local rules and the preferences of the store manager. They can't impose a particular rule on one site that doesn't apply across the board. With regard to pest control, that is handled under a national contract with Dollar General. They will post in a prominent place the phone number and process for customer complaints. Excuse me. Always have 2 employees on the store. Again, they can't require separate rules for one store that don't apply across the board, and those are decisions that are up to the manager in terms of staffing their store. Procedures to ensure a clean store, again, that's a store manager on-site's job. Keep the aisles and emergency exits clear. They're required by state law to do that. A community bulletin board, that presents potential issues. Dollar General can't allow just anybody to come in and post any old thing they want to post on a bulletin board. I suspect that if they work with the store manager, they'll probably be able to create some sort of a project that the store manager can permit for that. The last two are requests for repairs at other stores. Those really aren't of issue here for this rezoning, but those matters have been brought to the attention of Dollar General by the developer, and it is anticipated that Dollar General will take some action with regard to those issues. We'd ask for a passage of this ordinance this morning. Thank you.
Mr. Britton, just a question.
Certainly.
And I'm sorry you have to answer this question because it's probably not directed toward you.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Bucks getting built at 63 in Spring Hill, and it appears the shelf life for a Dollar General within this community has been about 10 to 15 years. That Dollar General turns 11 years old, I believe, this year. Do you or have you heard of any anticipation of that store closing and most of the business going to this store?
By the Bucks store, I'm not sure. Do you mean the one by
Yeah.
the prison?
By the prison, there's a brand new travel center, I shouldn't say travel center, convenience store gas station getting built there. It's currently up right now. They're pouring concrete. The building's complete. I would anticipate that's open by the end of this year, or maybe first quarter of 25. So that will take some business from that Spring Hill Dollar General.
Mm.
So just seeing what has happened in the past, especially on Lafayette up north, that business has moved to the Dollar General a little bit further north. Has there been any talk of that location?
In the developers' discussions with me, Dollar General has convenience stores close to other stores all over the place. That's not anything new for them.
Yep.
And they serve a broader market than your typical convenience store. I mean, there's not, paper goods and cleaning products and a lot of that sort of thing that you can find in a Dollar General that are not in a convenience store. So they're not necessarily direct competitors.
Okay.
But there was some specific discussion regarding that store by the prison, and it appears that store is it meets my hypothetical. I'll put it that way, of a store that is overburdened. It has too much traffic to function well. When a store has too much traffic to function well, Dollar General's model says, build another store that will serve some of the people who shop at that store, lessen the operational burdens on that overburdened store, and provide a new opportunity for some of the people who shop at that store, and a new opportunity for people who don't necessarily now shop at that store to shop at the new store. And Dollar General, it does attempt to track, it's hard to do, but track where people are coming from that travel to the store, and they take that into account when they cite a new store. Because the way they cite their new stores is they throw all this stuff into their model, and then they come up with a point on a map that says, we want a store near here. They then turn that map over to developers, like the developer in this instance, and that developer goes and tries to find a site close to that point for a store. So I don't have any reason to think that the construction of this store is the death knell for that store near the prison.
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Britton? Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Britton, for trying to answer these questions that the folks had. I would agree that the other sites that some have mentioned would be too small. I was down there this morning, and one is already zoned commercial. I appreciate that. I think that is accurate. When you say developer, that is the person building this store. That is not a Dollar General corporate person, correct?
That is correct, yes. The way, the model is that the developer builds the store and leases it to Dollar General
Okay,
on a long-term lease.
yeah. So no Dollar General representative was at the meeting last week or today?
That is correct. The developer representative is here and was at the meeting with the neighbors from Alabama.
Okay. I think that's probably one of these folks' issues, and one of my issues is that there is no Dollar General contact. This is a pretty important issue to the people of this community, and I think not having a Dollar General representative here, speaks a lot. There are issues. I believe this gentleman has a right to sell his own property. But this is a tough decision for us, and it would be nice if there was a Dollar General representative here that we could speak to and address some of the concerns that we have as well as what they have.
I can only tell you that that is not typical procedure.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, any questions of Mr. Britton before he sits down? No. Thank you, Mr. Britton.
Thank you.
We're going to allow for public comment today, but it's just going to be limited to 3 minutes. Some folks spoke for over 25 minutes last month. We're not going to do that today. We've gotten all of your emails, received several phone calls, voicemails. So if folks have something new to add that they didn't say last week, we would appreciate that. Just state your name, and then your 3 minutes will begin after you state your name. So anybody who would like to speak?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Paul Fouts, and I'm with the Keep the Prairie and Prairieton group. I'd like to present to you this morning our scroll of petitions. It's 19 and a half foot long. We have 281 physical signatures that we've obtained in the spirit of we're not interested in a Dollar General in our community. We also have an online petition that has verified of the petition. We have 192 of those on the online that were in Vigo County. So if I can present this to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are these all from the Prairieton area?
Yes. So we have. So we have the red circle represents a 2-mile radius from.
Can you guys go to the podium and speak? Yeah.
Yep.
We can see the map from back there. It's okay.
So what we have here is a 2-mile radius from the Dollar General proposed site. All the properties that are filled in red, this is a map from Beacon, are people that have opposed and we have verified. So we have just short of 500 verified signatures from the area within Prairieton Township and then Prairie Creek Township. Let's see. We have on your list there down in the Excel part here, that is from our online petition. And so the areas that are highlighted pink are from Prairieton Township, and there's 63 signatures there. And then in orange is our adjacent townships, which is Honey Creek, Prairie Creek, and Linton, We have 44 signatures there. And then the green are verified local signatures by physical or IP address, and we have 85 of those. So within that, we have just short of 500 signatures gathered in petition to oppose this zoning reordinance. So with that, I'd like to bring up Monty Hunt, and he's got a couple things as well.
Good morning. Morning. My name's Monty Hunt, and I live at 7811 South State Road 63. Been there for years. I was on the Prairieton Fire Department for 40 years, 25 years of at least fire chief. And back in 2004, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, I was on the Area Planning Commission. One of our goals was to not have a patchwork quilt of commercial properties. And I got something for you guys to look at.
Thank you.
So I think one thing a lot of people are actually missing is you're not just approving or disapproving a zoning for a piece of property, you're actually approving a district. So with that being said, when I was on the Plan Commission, we had some of these come up, and the problem was if you have one commercial property here, if you got another one a half a mile away, you got another one a mile away, then, you know, why can't you bring them all together? And now, if somebody wants to come and build something next to that, you really don't have a legal recourse, say, well, no, you can't because we don't want you there. Well, but you've already got a commercial property here, so why are you turning me down? You know, so that was one of the goals we had, is to keep them, you know, consolidated. And if you keep them consolidated, then you can build your infrastructure and stuff around that. You know, like what's going on down there. And we had a couple of these, what we called legal non-conforming. Right now, a guy on Kennett has built a big pole barn, and I believe he's doing body work. Now, he may come back later on. We don't know, because you don't know what the future holds. And we had some of these come up. Well, he may want to go get a commercial loan to expand his business, do more body work, but he's got to have a commercial zoning. Do you approve him too? We had a machine shop out in the county, wanted to do that, and we turned him down. He was considered legal non-conforming, but we said no because he's out in the middle of nowhere. So we actually turned him down. That's one of the things about area planning is the planning needs to make sense. And with the commercial property south, this really doesn't make sense. You know, if you look on Exhibit 1, you know, that commercial property south is about 2,600 feet south of that. And everybody knows it already is commercial. It is zoned commercial. You know, the county says that's what Exhibit 2 shows. Exhibit 3 shows a picture of it, and it appears to be abandoned. And if you zoom in on the front door, the guy's got just a bunch of stuff, clutter stacked in front of the door, probably to keep kids and everybody out. And I believe they looked at that and they were concerned that it's not big enough. Well, for that store, yes, I think it's an acre, but there's another plot next to it that's already subdivided out. It's owned by a different owner. It's owned by the same person that owns a big field. And, you know, they could, and if they could get both properties, if you look at Exhibit 4, if they get both properties, then that's big enough. But that's already zoned commercial, and the lawyers can tell you this, but there's no legal recourse to not rezone that for their needs. You know, and if it goes down there, then the infrastructure can be set up as needed, the roads, the utilities, water if it's needed. And then if somebody wants to come next door and say, hey, I want to put up a little mom and pop diner next door, it'd be a good location for that because you got a big, big open field. So that was one of our goals as area planning when I was on it, was to make sense of planning. If you don't make sense of planning, then why do you have an area planning commission? You know, so that's, you know, to me, it makes more sense to be down there than in the middle of the town. And, you know, like, let's say if this happens, just for sake of argument, if this happens to be approved and someone comes next door, the next property sells, well, I'm gonna put up, I've got a bunch of trash trucks. I want to rezone that to, so I can work on trucks, and I'm gonna park my trash trucks there. And then another guy wants to come along, and the other half, he wants to put a liquor store there. Now you've got no real recourse to say, no, we can't do that. You can't do that. You know, by doing little spot zonings like that, you've opened up a Pandora box you can't reclose. So the request is to not approve this, but highly encourage Dollar General to see the two landowners and move down south if they feel they really need to be in our area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Aaron Richmond. My address is 10131 South Edison Place. I live down on the south side of Prairieton. During this rezoning process, I keep hearing the phrase, what is the best use of this property? So let's expand on that for a few minutes. At one point, we were told a reason that the current landowner is willing to sell a part of his 22-acre parcel is because 6 acres of it is located on the east side of the highway and is inconvenient to farm and row crops. See Exhibit 1 for the existing conditions. Now, if the subdivision and rezoning is approved and the Dollar General gets built, we are now left with the awkward 3.77 acre L-shaped property still zoned for agriculture. See Exhibit 2. If this original parcel was inconvenient to farm, then this new shape with a reduced size will make it unlikely to be row cropped again. This is a bad use of the remaining property on the east side of the highway. Now that is public knowledge that the landowner is willing to sell a portion of his parcel, we have a local investor that's interested in purchasing the entire 6 acres on the east side of the highway and would plan to develop it into additional housing. See Exhibit 3 for proposals. Now this option addresses 3 important subjects. 1, this is the most effective and best use of the property. 2, this addresses the housing shortage we are recently seeing in the county. 3, these 8 new homes will increase the tax revenue base more than building a single Dollar General will over the lifetime of the buildings. This residential option would provide similar lot sizes along Edison Place as the South Haven subdivision adjacent, and with larger lots located along State Road 63 with a communal woods separating them that would be governed by the HOA. So this brings us back to the original question. What is the best use of this property? A commercial lot that leaves the remaining parcel unusable as currently zoned, or addressing a housing need by infilling a field surrounded by residences with affordable housing? Thank you.
Hold on. Is the proposed developer here for this?
No, she's not able to make it today.
Okay.
Okay, you're not the developer.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Anybody else?
Good morning. I'm Brian Kearns, and I'm a resident of the area. And I'm not on the petition, but I would, you could lend my name to the petition as well. And I served on area planning, the president of the tax board here, and I served in government in other significant ways. But, and just looking at the use, I know for area planning, we have voted when a business would impact a small community, and like, for example, the Fox Grocery, to preserve that neighborhood, that business long-standing. And I think we have a similar thing here, where we have a community has a very close sense. They work together with regard to the volunteer fire department. When neighbors need help, they work together. I've also served locally in the community there as well. But the idea in the framework of the church to have a store selling alcohol, it really doesn't fit what I would say community standards. And I think we should all work to preserve our community, because we have something special in Indiana. And we have that close-knit sense of community. And I think we should maybe work to preserve that. I know the boards have done that in the past when they can look. And I'm pro-business and understand people want to develop. But in this instance, I don't think it's the best place for the store. I have 30 acres south all along the highway. And I don't know, you're looking at other areas. I'm not interested in having a store. I'm not interested in developing my property. But at the same time, no one asked me if they were seriously looking at other opportunities for other places to put stores. I know I have quite a bit of property, and no one approached me, even though I would not be interested, honestly. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Britton, any response to these comments?
Current Area Plan Commission, both the staff and the commission approved this proposed rezone. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any discussion? Any questions?
I got a question from any of the people that are here from this area. Does anybody know why there's a road adjacent to Kennett Lane built? Yeah, there's a road built along Kennett Lane. Does that get something out of the floodplain or something? North side of Kennett, yeah.
Yes, he built that so that people on the west side, river comes up, it comes next to my property up across the road, they can't get out. That is simply a driveway for them to get above the water and get out on the other side, but they're trapped
Okay,
back on the west side.
okay.
The ground is higher out of the floodplain, west side, my driveway.
Right. Okay.
I would like to also make a comment about
If you can, come to the podium,
Please,
sir, so we can
please.
get on record.
Please.
Mr. Britton says that I'm Dan Farmer, 4605 West Kennett. I frequently pass the current Dollar General. Mr. Britton's saying that Dollar General is overloaded. I have never been in there when there were more than 4 or 5 people waiting to check out. I've never been in there when there were more than that many people. I've never seen the parking lot full. So I don't see how he can say, or Dollar General can say, that that location is overloaded. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the commissioners? I will say, it's a commissioner's job, so we don't make, and some of you having served on the Area Plan Commission, we don't make recommendations to the developer on where to move to. That's not our job. We just have the property at stake to vote up or down, and we have to make a decision on that. With that being said, the organization you have made in opposition of this is commendable. We certainly appreciate the phone calls and text messages normally, or not text, emails. We normally don't get too much of that unless it's something like this. Sorry, some of you made this political. Did not have to be, but I will make a motion to deny this request.
A second.
Any more comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, appreciate it.